Welcome to Deep Thoughts, a podcast designed to take you on an introspective journey into the mindsets and strategies that fuel personal growth. In every episode, we'll explore the intersection of psychology, spirituality, and real-world tactics, guiding you through powerful methods to elevate your health, wealth, relationships, and overall well-being. From deep dives into transformative habits and mindsets to candid discussions about the challenges we face in today's fast-paced world, Deep Thoughts is here to remind you of the untapped potential that lies within. If you're ready to disconnect from the distractions and connect with the tools and insights needed to create lasting change, this show is your sanctuary for self-discovery and empowerment. Tune in, reflect, and take action towards a more vibrant and fulfilling life.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. It's all about brain power today. Fueling your brain power with the right foods.
That's right.
And we've got some really interesting research to dig into.
Yeah, we've got 3 different sources we're going to be looking at today, and it's going to be a really cool mix of practical tips and the actual science behind why food affects our brain.
Okay, awesome. So before we get into the specifics of what to eat and what not to eat, I'm really curious about this idea that there aren't any superfoods when it comes to brain power.
Right.
It seems like every week there's a new ingredient.
Oh, yeah.
That's the miracle brain booster.
There's the new turmeric or whatever.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
not true. Is there really no magic bullet?
Well, that's what's so interesting is that all 3 of the sources that we're looking at, they all emphasize the power of a balanced diet over any single food.
Right.
So the Health Partners piece, for example, it makes a really strong connection between heart health and brain health.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
What's good for the heart is good for the brain.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So we're not even just talking about sharper thinking here. We're talking about overall well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a holistic thing.
Yeah, that holistic approach. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that might be hindering our brain power.
Okay.
2 of the sources that we're looking at today, they call out added sugar as a major culprit when it comes to things like brain fog and focus issues.
Totally.
And I'll be honest, I have a little bit of a sweet tooth.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But I'm ready to hear the hard truths.
Okay, well, the truth is that sugar can be pretty sneaky.
Okay.
Dr. Naidu, the Harvard nutritionist, she really breaks down the science of it.
Okay.
It's not just about avoiding the obvious sugary treats.
Okay.
It's also about being aware of all the hidden sugars that are in so many processed foods.
So it's more than just that mid-afternoon energy slump?
Way more. It's really about what's happening in your brain on a chemical level.
Okay.
Your brain needs glucose for energy, but when you overload it with refined sugar, it creates these dramatic spikes and crashes in your blood sugar levels.
Ah. Yep.
And those fluctuations, they actually mess with the balance of neurotransmitters in your brain.
Wow.
Which affects everything from your mood to your focus to your memory.
So it's not just about willpower then.
Right.
It's about understanding the chemical reactions that are happening when I reach for that cookie.
Absolutely. And the Texacolado source actually digs even deeper into that whole psychological aspect of it.
Okay.
And explores how our brains are wired for instant gratification, especially in our culture of convenience.
Yeah.
We're just surrounded by messages that tell us to prioritize speed and ease over nourishment.
It's like we're in this convenience trap where we sacrifice long-term clarity for that quick fix.
For that quick hit.
Okay. Speaking of things that might be hindering our brain power, I'm also seeing that all 3 sources mention fried foods as something to be mindful of.
For sure. And
this one's tough.
Yeah. I love French fries.
Me too.
But tell me,
I know.
Why are they so bad for our brains? What's the science behind that?
Well, it's not like we need to demonize French fries or anything. It's more about understanding how those kinds of choices affect our bodies.
Yeah.
Fried food, they often have a lot of trans fats in them,
right,
which trigger inflammation.
Ah, okay.
And that inflammation, it's not just bad for your arteries.
Right.
It affects your brain too.
So it's not just about clogged arteries anymore.
Right.
It's about inflammation impacting our brain function.
Exactly. And remember those blood vessels we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
The ones that are delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain?
Yeah.
Well, if you have chronic inflammation, it can actually damage those vessels.
Wow.
And that makes it harder for your brain to get what it needs to function properly.
Okay. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah. Sugar-fried foods, it all seems to come back to inflammation.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's not just those two culprits.
Right.
Refined carbs can also be a problem.
Oh, yeah, like white bread.
Yeah, white bread, pasta, things like that.
Okay.
They contribute to inflammation too.
Mm-hmm.
And they mess with your blood sugar.
Okay.
Dr. Naidu even mentions that a diet that's really high in refined carbs, it can actually increase your risk of developing depression.
Wow, I had no idea there was such a strong connection between diet and mental health.
Oh, it's a huge connection.
Wow.
It's really powerful.
I guess we really are what we eat.
We really are.
Yeah.
Your brain is built from what you put into your body.
So we've talked about sugar-fried foods, refined carbs.
Yeah.
It seems like alcohol might be another thing that we want to be mindful of.
It can be.
Dr. Naidu talks about patients coming to her who use alcohol to unwind after a long day.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So is that nightly glass of wine really doing that much damage?
Well, again, it all goes back to moderation.
Right.
And understanding what even moderate drinking can do.
Okay.
Alcohol disrupts your neurotransmitters.
Okay.
And as we've already talked about, that can lead to problems with memory and focus.
Yeah.
And over time, if someone drinks a lot, it can actually cause the brain to shrink.
Okay, so maybe that nightly glass of wine isn't such a good idea after all.
Well, but then on the other hand,
Yeah.
the study that Dr. Naidu mentions in her article,
Yeah.
it also said that people who abstained completely from alcohol,
Okay.
they actually had a higher risk of dementia
Interesting.
compared to people who drank moderately.
So it seems like finding that sweet spot is key,
Yeah.
like with most things in life.
I think so. I think balance is
Oh,
key.
balance, okay.
Yeah, making informed choices.
Yeah.
You know, not about deprivation,
Right.
but just being aware of how our choices affect us.
Yeah, I'm ready to hear about the good stuff now. What can we eat to boost our brain power?
Okay, let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
The Health Partners source actually has this awesome list of brain-boosting foods.
I'm ready.
But before we jump into specifics, I think it's helpful to understand the key nutrients that your brain really needs.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Okay, think of it this way. Your brain thrives on antioxidants,
Okay.
anti-inflammatories,
Okay.
omega-3 fatty acids,
Okay.
and a good supply of B vitamins and amino acids.
All right.
All of those nutrients, they help protect your brain cells.
Okay.
They support healthy blood flow,
Mm-hmm.
and they make sure that the communication between your neurons is working properly.
Okay.
So it's not just about calories.
Right.
It's about giving your brain the specific building blocks that it needs.
Okay. I'm ready for that grocery list now.
Yep.
What are some of the top contenders for brain-boosting foods?
Okay, well, leafy green vegetables, they're always a great place to start.
Okay.
They're full of antioxidants
Yeah.
and all sorts of other nutrients that are good for your brain.
I've always heard that berries are good for you, and now I know they're good for my memory, too.
They are. They're like these little powerhouses.
Yeah.
Full of antioxidants and anti-inflammatories,
Awesome.
which are so important for protecting your brain cells from damage.
Okay. Greens, berries. What else?
Fish rich in omega-3s,
Okay.
beans,
Ah.
olive oil, avocados, whole grains, nuts,
Wow.
even coffee and tea in moderation.
Okay. I love this list. It sounds delicious and satisfying.
It is.
I can nourish my brain and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yay.
Eating for a healthier brain, it doesn't have to be like restrictive or boring.
Right.
It's about enjoying a variety of foods
Yeah.
that make you feel good.
Okay, so we've got our brain-boosting shopping list.
Yes.
We understand the dangers of the convenience track.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to see how sugar and inflammation aren't doing our brains any favors.
Right.
Is there anything else we need to be aware of?
There's one more interesting point that Dr. Naidu makes that I think you'll find surprising.
Okay.
It's about nitrates.
Nitrates.
Yeah, you know those compounds that are found in a lot of processed meats?
Okay, I thought those were mainly a concern for, like, heart health.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But there's some new research suggesting that nitrates might also affect our mental well-being.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It seems that nitrates can change our gut bacteria.
Okay.
And those changes have been linked to a whole bunch of different mental health issues.
Wow.
There's even a possible connection to bipolar disorder.
Wait, so it's not just about the nitrates themselves.
Right.
It's about how they're affecting the bacteria in our gut.
Exactly.
Okay.
It all comes back to this fascinating field of research that's exploring the gut-brain axis.
Right.
You know, that connection between our digestive system and our central nervous system.
So what we eat isn't just affecting our physical health.
Yep.
It's impacting our mental and emotional well-being too.
It is.
Through this like complex relationship with our gut bacteria.
It's mind-boggling, isn't
It
it?
is. I'm starting to see how interconnected everything really is.
It's all connected, which is why it's so important to take a holistic approach to nutrition.
Right.
We're not just feeding ourselves.
Yeah.
We're feeding this whole ecosystem that lives inside of us.
Okay, so if I'm enjoying a turkey sandwich every now and then,
Yeah.
should I be worried about these nitrates?
Well, Dr. Naidu actually has a really practical tip for people who enjoy those processed meats.
Okay.
She says to look for options that contain buckwheat flour,
Okay.
because buckwheat's a good source of antioxidants.
Okay.
And those antioxidants, they might help counteract some of the negative effects of the nitrates.
So simple swap?
Yeah,
That could potentially make a big difference.
exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about the dangers of the convenience trap.
Yep.
We learned about the sneaky saboteur that is sugar. And we heard about the surprising impact that nitrates can have on our gut health.
It's amazing.
And of course, we explored that delicious list of brain-boosting foods.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That provide all those essential nutrients that our brains need to thrive.
It's exciting stuff.
It is. I can't wait to dive in deeper.
Me too. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
There's so much more to learn about this.
I know, this connection between food and our brains.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
That's amazing.
It really is. There really is so much to uncover,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And speaking of uncovering things,
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to something we talked about a little bit earlier.
Okay.
That convenience trap idea.
Right.
You know, the textocolato source makes this really fascinating connection between that trap and how our brains are wired for instant gratification.
Right. Like our brains are always looking for that dopamine hit.
Yes, that quick reward.
But how does that tie into our cognitive function?
Well, when we're constantly like bombarded with all these hyper-palatable foods,
Yeah.
you know, really processed stuff, our brains start to prioritize those immediate rewards
Right.
over the long-term benefits of eating a really nourishing diet.
So basically we're sacrificing long-term clarity for that quick sugar rush or that, salty, crunchy snack.
Exactly. And it's not just about willpower.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
big.
our brains are being hijacked
Yeah.
by these foods that are designed to be super addictive.
So what can we do about that?
Well, that's where mindful eating comes in.
Okay.
It's about retraining your brain
Okay.
to appreciate the subtle flavors of food,
Right.
to savor each bite,
Okay.
and to really like tune in to your body's natural hunger and fullness cues.
It's almost like hitting the reset button
Yeah.
on our relationship with food.
I love that.
Yeah.
It really is. It's about shifting from that instant gratification
Right.
to long-term nourishment.
For both our bodies and our minds.
Exactly.
Okay, so mindful eating. Got it. What else can we do to kind of support these healthy habits and really optimize our brain power?
Well, the textocolato piece makes another really interesting point.
Okay.
It encourages us to think about the diets of high performers
Okay.
in all kinds of different fields,
Okay.
like athletes, CEOs,
Yeah.
artists, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So many of them, they have these really strict nutrition plans
Okay.
where they eliminate any foods
Uh-huh.
that they think could be detrimental to their cognitive function.
Interesting. So they're not just disciplined in their training or their work.
Right.
They're also incredibly disciplined about what they eat,
Exactly.
which kind of begs the question, do these high performers know something that we don't
That's a great question.
about this link between food and like peak mental performance?
Yeah. What's their secret?
Yeah.
Spill the beans.
I don't think it's necessarily about a secret formula
Okay.
or one magic bullet.
Okay.
I think it's about recognizing that food is information.
I like that.
It's the raw material that our bodies and our minds use
Okay.
to build and repair and function at their best.
I love that food is information.
Yeah.
It's not just about calories.
Right.
It's about providing our brains with the specific nutrients that they need to thrive.
Exactly. And when we start seeing food that way,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
It empowers us to make choices that support our long-term cognitive health
Yeah.
and help us unlock our full potential.
Awesome. Okay, so we've debunked the myth of superfoods.
Yes.
We've explored the dangers of the convenience trap, and we've learned some pretty cool things
For sure.
from the world of high performers.
Mm-hmm.
What are some key takeaways that you want our listener to walk away with today?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that our diets have a massive impact
Yeah,
on our cognitive health.
right.
It's not just about avoiding bad foods.
Okay.
It's about actively choosing foods that nourish and support our brains.
And it's not just about what we eat.
No.
It's about how we eat.
Yes. Mindful eating is so important.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point.
It can make a huge difference.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. I would also say that consistency is key.
Okay.
It's not about being perfect all the time.
Right.
It's about making sustainable changes that you can stick with.
Small changes add up.
They really do.
Over time.
Over time.
Absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
Okay. And before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love it.
Kind of inspired by this point about high performers.
Okay, lay it on me.
If high performers are so meticulous about their diets, because they understand how much food plays a role in their ability to perform at their best, what can we learn from their approach?
That's a great question.
What insights might they have that we can apply to our own lives to unlock our cognitive potential?
I love that. It really challenges us to think about, not just our individual choices, but the bigger picture of food and how it impacts us.
Exactly. What if we're all capable of achieving greater mental clarity and focus?
Right.
If we just pay more attention to what we're eating.
That's powerful.
Food for thought.
It really is.
Literally.
Yes. And with that, I think we should wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me.
The pleasure was all mine.
It's been so fun exploring this topic with you.
I know. This has been really interesting.
Yeah.
And to you, our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of food and its impact on our brains.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Remember, small changes can make a big difference.
It can.
So start incorporating some of those brain-boosting foods into your diet today and see how you feel.
It's amazing what a difference it can make.
And keep that question in mind. What can we learn from the dietary choices of high performers? It might just help you unlock a whole new level of cognitive potential.
Absolutely. It could change your life.
Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those bellies happy.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
It really has been a fascinating look at how food affects our brains.
It has.
Yes.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling inspired.
Yeah.
To make some changes to my own eating habits.
Me too. It's like that's the best part of learning new things.
Right.
Yeah.
It empowers us to make positive changes.
Totally. And, it's not about being perfect.
It's not about deprivation. It's about progress.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. It's about making those small changes.
Yeah.
That we can actually stick with over time.
And those small changes, they really do add up.
They do.
To big results.
To a healthier brain and a happier you.
Absolutely. So, to our listener, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the amazing world of food and how it affects our brains. We hope you learned some valuable tips and tricks for fueling your brain power and unlocking your full potential.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time, happy eating.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Deep Thoughts Podcast. I hope you found insights and inspiration to take with you on your journey of self-growth. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated on new releases and exclusive content. See you next time, where we'll continue to help you grow and explore your full potential.